Pete, you mentioned Kyle Shanahan not afraid to put high-profile players on the bench if he doesn't feel that they're doing what he wants them to do. And there's a story developing with Brandon Aiyuk. So he did not play to whatever extent, did not have a target against the Lions. And then Matt Maiocco of NBC, the Bay Area, NBC Sports, he says that Brandon Aiyuk tailed off dramatically in training camp. This according to Maiocco. He's still learning how to be a pro. Kyle Shanahan clearly favors some of the other wide receivers right now. Message sent. And so we saw Trent Sherfield play over him. We obviously saw Deebo Samuel have a big game. Is this something we have to be concerned about Aiyuk moving forward, or is it more of an injury situation and maybe the reporters reading into it a little too much?
Well, he did have a hamstring that bothered him for about 10 days. And I think sometimes, and we've seen this with other receivers in the league, Devontae Parker being one of them, sometimes those things linger. And when you're a young player, there's a big difference between saying, okay, my hamstring's still a little sore, I can't go 100%, when the reality is, you know, as you get older, you learn that, yes, I can go. And so I think he might be a little bit cautious with it, and he wasn't, you know, doing the things he needed to do to get back on the field at 100%. And I think, again, I go back to what I said about Kyle Shanahan. He's going to play the guy who puts in the work and can give him production, and not going to sit there and allow a guy who's not practicing at 100%. Maybe he pushed him a little bit, and he said, no, I'm not ready yet, and that upsets a lot of coaches. So I think it's the right situation. You play Sherfield. He did a good job. He's become a pretty good receiver. And maybe this is one of those situations where the message gets sent to Brandon Aiyuk, look, you're all replaceable, buddy. Get back out on the field and do some things.
I mean, that would be bad for fantasy managers who drafted Aiyuk in that 4th through 6th round range as a potential starter for your fantasy team. It wasn't the same thing for Deebo Samuel, Heath, but he had the big game, 9 catches, 189 yards, and a touchdown. Did have the fumble at the end of the game that nearly gave the Lions an opportunity to come back and win it. Moving forward, who's the best 49ers receiver?
Well, week 2, it's got to be Deebo Samuel. I mean, that's who you're going to rank better. If I had to bet over the rest of the season, I'd probably still bet on Aiyuk. The thing that really I thought was curious, if the hamstring had anything to do with it at all for Aiyuk, was why did he return a punt? Why is he out there returning a punt if he's got a hamstring problem that prevents him from getting any targets in the offense? I will take Aiyuk over the course of their careers and over the course of 2021 still. But for week 2, there's no question. You rank Deebo Samuel like a starter.
Is this a buy low, sell high situation? Buy low on Brandon Aiyuk, sell high on Deebo Samuel?
If you can get someone to buy Samuel as a must-start wide receiver rest of the season, yes, I think it is.
Would you swap if you had the opportunity?
I probably don't have the courage to do that. It takes too much courage.
I mean, look, I still think Ayuk's the better player. So I'd go out and get Aiyuk and try and see if somebody wants Deebo Samuel just to see how it plays out over the course of the season, because you didn't draft Deebo to be a starter. Right. Somebody else obviously drafted Brandon Aiyuk to be a potential starter. So, again, we'll see with the 49ers backfield. We'll see with the 49ers receiving core moving forward who's going to be the best running back, who's going to be the best wide receiver. Want more of the Fantasy Football Today podcast and nonstop year-round fantasy advice? It's simple. Hit the subscribe button and hang with us all throughout the year.